Hello, this is Alberto Govea, and I am with Pasa today. Today we're going to go way back to 1916 in El Paso. But before we do that, I'd like to thank our sponsors, Our Voice, Nuestra Voz de Texas. You can find them at www.nuestravoztc.com. Or if you live in North Texas, you can also pick up a printed copy as well. In addition, we invite you to subscribe to our Weekender, which comes out every Friday. You can also go again to www.nuestravoztc.com and subscribe to El Weekender. So anyway, going to our story, in December of 1915, a group of prominent citizens in El Paso met to discuss what they called an era of peace that would be coming to El Paso and to that whole region. In attendance was El Paso Mayor Tom Lee. Tom Lee was known as quite the racist and germophobic. Mexican General Alvaro Obregón, American General John Pershing, along with others. They had agreed that Pancho Villa would be eliminated, and therefore all American mining interests would be protected in Chihuahua. However, Pancho Villa was not in agreement to that and warned the Americans and the mining company that was headed by C.R. Watson that if he did not leave and take his men soon, they would all be murdered. This prompted C.R. Watson to say, hey, I'm gone. They boarded a train and they left as soon as possible. However, General Obregón insisted that they return, as according to him, the whole area was now under his protection and no harm could come to him or his men. With these assurances and the quest for money that they were making in the mines, C.R. Watson and his men returned. However, this proved to be a fatal mistake, as a train carrying these men, even before they got to their mining interests, they were met by Coronel Pablo Lopez and 100 of his revolutionary soldiers. According to the reports that day, they shouted "Viva, Viva Villa" and "Death to the Gringos." Reportedly, 18 or more mining workers were slaughtered that day, and their remains arrived back in El Paso on January the 13th. Once word spread of the slaughter of the Americans at the hands of the Villa soldiers, menacing crowds began to form to exact revenge on anyone that even appeared to be Mexican. As the day grew longer, men drank at area bars, their fuse grew shorter and shorter. Then 2 American soldiers from Fort Bliss decided to attack 2 Mexican men from a largely Mexican neighborhood that was located close to the downtown area. The violence spread to the interior of what was called the Chihuahuita district, when drunken Angelos began to pour out of saloons to join the violence. Among their victims that day were children and the elderly. If you looked Mexican, you were a target. By now, the marauding crowd grew into the hundreds. Local police tried to stop the riot, but were clearly outnumbered. Then, having heard of what was going on in the nearby Chihuahuita district, other Mexicanos or Mexican Americans from El Segundo Barrio decided to come out and help their fellow Mexicanos from Chihuahuita, armed with bats, pipes, and other weapons. Anything they could get their hands on. They rushed to the Chihuahuita district to help their brothers and sisters. And in fact, there was reports that residents from Juarez crossed the bridge over into El Paso as well to help defend their Mexican brethren in El Paso. Finally, General Pershing ordered his troops in the downtown and Mexican areas of the town to quell the rioting. A curfew was established and enforced by the soldiers through sentry checkpoints. Only those with permits signed by the provost marshal were allowed out. Despite all this fighting between both groups, still continued past midnight. General Pershing declared martial law and ordered deadlines that separated the Mexican neighborhoods from the Anglo community. They even went as far as to temporarily close the international bridge. How many were killed or injured that day is not clear, but estimates are well into the hundreds. According to the published public records at Texas Tech University and other books written about the nightmare for El Paso Mexicanos, these incidents affected race relations in this area for years to come. One last word on this is, given the anti-immigrant rhetoric that is actively promoted by POTUS at this time and his supporters, we should all be vigilant to prevent what happened in El Paso in 1962 to returning to our own neighborhoods and barrios. Thank you for listening today. And again, I want to thank our voice, Nuestra Voz de Texas, and El Weekender. You can subscribe to both at www.nuestravoztc.com. Thank you and adios.